These are superstitions of Appalachia beliefs passed down through generations to protect, to guide, and sometimes to terrify. From omens to rituals to keep unseen forces away, these aren't just stories, they're rules. Make sure to subscribe and let's take a look.
In Appalachian folklore, the chimney is the gravestone of the home, marking where lives were lived, children raised, and stories told. A silent monument to the lives long vanished that once warmed themselves by its fire. A chimney was thought to hold the soul of the home. It had breathed in smoke, prayers, and life of the family for generations. So even if the logs rotted and the roof caved in, the chimney stood guard over those memories. Old Appalachians believed spirits of the household might still linger inside of these. In Appalachian superstition, it's bad luck to tear down a chimney. Old folk tales often include travelers witnessing smoke still rising out of these old chimneys. The stones still warm to the touch, and voices of the family still gathered at their old earth. There's an unusually high number of standing chimneys in Appalachia. It has a long history of small log cabins that have long rotted away. But Appalachians found a spiritual meaning for everything.
Have you ever wondered why cemeteries or graveyards have a black wrought iron fence around it with spear points? Well, that fence is there for your protection. It is said that if you go in a cemetery and you step on someone's grave, it's not only disrespectful, but it can make a spirit become attached to you and follow you home. So when you go out through those wrought iron gates, that spirit won't be able to get past those points because it is said that it'll get stuck on it and have to stay in the cemetery. Now, if you're wondering what the difference between a cemetery and a graveyard is, a graveyard is a burial ground that's connected to a church. And a cemetery is a burial ground with no church.
What if I told you there's a reason our grandparents never left their curtains open after dark? And it wasn't just superstition. Comment if you still close yours when the sun goes down. My grandma said the mountain night ain't empty. It's watching. She told me, light draws things, child, but it don't always draw what you want. When dusk fell, she'd walk the house slow, pull every curtain tight, and never once look out the window again till morning. She said long ago, folks learned the hard way. There were stories of miners who vanished after seeing faces in the glass, of children who waved to shadows in the yard and never came back inside. They called it the Watchers, said the hills had their own kind of eyes, old as stone and jealous of the living. I used to laugh, till one night I forgot. I left the curtain cracked, and right around midnight I woke up to that sound, soft knocking, slow and steady on the window pane. I thought it was a branch in the wind until I saw the handprint smudged across the glass, small, wet, cold as creek water. By morning it was gone, but Grandma knew. She just looked at me and said, "Now you understand why we close 'em tight." And I swear, every night since, when the light fades and the woods go still, I hear her words again. Not fear and warning. Because in Appalachia, we don't stare into the dark. We respect it.
If you shiver for no reason, it means that somebody walked over your grave.
If an unnamed baby gets sick, give it a name and it will get better. If you are lost, ask a daddy long-leg the direction you need to go, and it will point that direction with one of its legs. When you go fishing, always thank the fish that you catch, or your cabinets will remain bare for the coming season. And finally, if you kill a cricket, you will be facing an entire day of bad luck.
If you've grown up in the Appalachian Mountain hills and hollers, we have grown up with a ton of superstitions. So I wanted to share some today, some of my favorites. There are so many you couldn't count even if you tried, but here are a few. One of my favorites is if you shudder for no reason, somebody is walking on your grave. Knock that around in your head for a little bit with space and time. A red moon signifies war and conflict. If you have an apple tree, you always leave at least one on the tree because this wards off evil spirits. And if you move to a new home, never bring the old broom because it brings old energy and old dirt with it. Always leave through the same door that you left. If you leave through a different door, bad luck. That's a no-no. A spiderweb over your doorway signifies good luck. And if the cows lay down, or the leaves on the trees flip over backwards, it means rain is coming. If a black cat crosses your path, you turn around, you take a different way, you go a different way, or it's bad luck or a bad omen for your journey. If someone dies in a house, you're supposed to open the door to allow their spirit to leave. And as the person is being transported out of the house, don't be surprised if a huge gust of wind hits because that is the universe transporting their spirit from this realm to the next. If your second toe is bigger than your first toe, you are more likely to be the dominant partner in a romantic relationship. To get rid of an unwanted visitor in your house, flip the broom upside down, watch him go. And if the broom falls with no reason, that means that bad fortune is on the way. The last few I'll share are if you drop a knife, that means a man is coming to visit. If you drop a fork, that means a woman is coming to visit. And if you see a knife that you didn't open, don't close it. That's bad luck.
Always watch for the crows, for a crow can foretell the future. If and you see one crow, that means sorrow is yet to come. 2 is for mirth, and 3 means a wedding to be. 4 for a birth that's to come, and 5 for silver. 6 for gold, and if and you see 7 crows, that means a secret that must never be told. 8 for a wish, 9 for a kiss, 10 for a bird you must never miss, 11 for hope, and 12 for health. But if and you see 13 crows, beware of the devil himself. And it is also said that you can learn a crow to speak, and that sometimes when you're out in the woods and you hear someone calling you, it's a crow.
Here are some more Southern and Appalachian folklore myths and legends. We'll kick it off with number 5. Death always comes in threes. As a healthcare worker myself, this has always seemed to be true. When one person passes away, I often look for 2 others to follow. Number 4. If you're out having a drink with your buddies or having a drink by your lonesome, make sure you pour one out on the ground to satisfy past spirits. That one actually goes back to ancient Egyptian times. Number 3. If a pregnant woman looks at a deceased person at a funeral or anything like that, then their child will be born with a birthmark. It's called being marked. I'm going to take number 2 and expand it a little bit. If you ever see a mirror hanging on the porch or by the door, don't touch it. It is said that the devil loves himself so much that he'll stand there and look into the mirror all night long until sunrise, and he will not enter your house. And number 1. There are 2 ways around here that I like to keep bad luck away. If a black cat crosses my path, I draw an X. And if I spill salt, I like to take a pinch and throw it over my left shoulder. That keeps bad luck away. If you throw it over your right, you will gain bad luck. I've always been taught those things since I was a kid, and I still do them to this day. People around here are always superstitious, and for good reason. You may think they're a little bit crazy, but sometimes you might just want to slow down and take a listen.
Make sure you follow the old-timey ways, for if and you don't, you could be inviting ill will or spirits into your life. Sing at the table, whistle in bed. The devil will get you before you're dead. A whistling woman and a crowing hen will come to no good end. And if you hear an owl, but you don't see it, that means someone you know, their loved one, will pass away. And never go straight home for a funeral, for there could be a spirit attached to you, and they'll follow you home. Look upon the face of death. Never feel your baby's breath. And don't ever walk backwards, for if you do, you're telling the devil himself where you're at and where you're headed. And don't never rock an empty rocking chair, or you'll invite evil spirits in. And never put your shoes upside down, or you'll invite spirits in. And never put your shoes on the table, or you'll call death in. And never leave your back door or your front door open at the same time, or you'll invite evil spirits in. And never cut your fingernails or toenails at night, for if and you do, you'll call death in.
Never carry an axe or a hoe into the house because this can summon death, especially if it's some of those hoes. When the veil is thin, you want to make sure you take your wind chimes outside down because they can summon spirits. If you burn sassafras wood, that will bring you bad luck. The ringing of a bell that cannot otherwise be accounted for means that an unexpected and surprising death will suddenly occur. A star pattern quilt on your bed will protect you from evil spirits while you sleep. But I'm not sure if a boo hag is included in that. This is why you will often see barns with stars on them as you travel through Appalachia, because it was thought that you could protect your home and your land from evil spirits this way. And finally, walking on someone's grave will invite their ghost to come and visit you. So, no thanks. Nope.
Always be mindful of the color of wedding dress you choose, for it is said that if and you marry in red, you will wish yourself dead, and that if and you marry in gray, you will go far away, and if and you marry in black, you will wish yourself back, and if and you marry in blue, you will always be true, and if and you marry in pearl, you will live in a whirl, and if and you marry in green, you will be shamed to be seen. And if and you marry in yellow, you'll be ashamed of your fellow. And if and you marry in brown, you will live out of town. And if and you marry in pink, your spirit will sink. And if and you marry in white, you've chosen everything just right.
Thank you for watching, and remember, in Appalachia, every sign means something. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, stay safe, stay aware, and question everything.